So we hear a lot of men talking about wanting a submissive woman. Is that true? If so, what does that mean and what does it look like?
Because we don't know what the hell it means. We just get like triggered like crazy when we hear that term.
Trigger.
But other people, I actually want to hear from a man. Like, what does that mean? What does it mean?
What does it mean to you?
Submissive woman. Do I want a submissive woman?
Well, yes, that's part one. And then part two of the question is, what does it look like for a woman to be submissive if you want that?
Troy asked, what's the definition of submissive?
We don't know. We're asking you guys.
Again,
How do you define it? How do you define it?
that's what I'm saying. Like, listen.
That's not, to me, that's not even an issue. I never even thought about that. Like, so I don't know where you got that question from.
Any dating book?
Dren, stop it right now.
No.
Stop it right now.
Book, any YouTube
Stop with the
video.
nonsense.
Listen. Troy and I, we talk.
They don't want to get in trouble.
I know, that's what it is.
No. I've
Room full of
never
women.
been in a conversation with any of my homeboys or dudes, and they say, "Yo, I found this girl," and then one of them respond like, "But is she submissive though?" Like it never happened.
If you read any dating book or listen to any male dating coach, they all talk about this. They're like, what happened to all the submissive women? And we're like, what the fuck? I gotta pay my rent. Like, I can't be like rubbing your feet every day.
Yeah.
I mean, when I want to.
So let me say this. I don't like to be disrespected. I don't take disrespect in any form, inside or outside of my house. If I'm asking you to be respectful, and I think we have to talk about the word submissive. Before we put it in this relationship contest, it was pets that we talk about, like dogs being submissive. Like, and I could imagine how there's a negative connotation associated with it. And maybe it's the word that I'm against the word. The challenge I have, women tend to want leadership, men who take on the lead, but they fight against the idea of it. Because if somebody is leading, going back to the whole alpha thing, if somebody is leading, that means somebody has to follow, right? And I think for a lot of, I was just about to speak for women.
Don't get jumped, bro.
Yeah,
So
that's what I caught myself.
Everyone's getting arrested after this panel.
It's
Safe space.
it's easy to say I want my man to be able to do these things for me and decide, like, when we go out to eat to pick my meals for me, and until it becomes he's a narcissist. Oh, he doesn't even give me an opportunity to think, and I don't even feel like I have a voice in this relationship. So it's like there's this thin line between this ideal man, and when he shows up, you assign these other things to him. He's gaslighting, and it's like, where is these, like, and it becomes a thing. So now men are scared to be men because the guy, I can't remember his name, who was up here earlier, is like, women were saying, I want a man to take control, but if he does, then it's like, did he take too much control? And is he now teetering on me too? Like, what is
I actually wanted to touch on that, honestly. I made like a mental note, if you don't mind, because this is an issue my male friends have told me about. They're like, because of Me Too, it's shifted things, right? And it's an important movement, but I think a lot of men who feel nervous to hit on women, right? Like, let's say, especially in a business situation, right? You're working with somebody. So like, Dren, I don't know how you met your partner, but I think a lot of guys are, and I've heard this from their mouths, they're like, well, I don't want to like hit on her or ask her on a date because she might go to HR, right? Or she might get offended by this, or she might like post about me and like ruin my brand or my reputation. So I actually understand that could be a concern. I just want to hear from you guys what you think.
Well, me, I met my partner before we were, working together on the same team. Damn, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's how I met my partner.
Okay.
But to also touch on something, like the whole social media thing, like I don't post her like that. You know what I'm saying? Because people like to ruin good things. And then, a lot of the times that we work together, if you don't know we're together, you don't know. Yeah. Like we don't do PDA, we don't, all the higher ups know, but the way we carry ourselves, they're like, that's dope. Like, because that's frowned upon too, you know what I'm saying? People work, in the same workplace, so like we don't do any of that, but it's really dope because the longevity in it and just the way the experience is different. Like I never experience something so dope and natural and platonic like that. You know what I'm saying? My last relationship, she wanted to be all over my page, all over my social media. And it's funny because when me and her got together now, she, by mistake, double-clicked on the one picture I forgot to delete for my social media, and that's what sparked the whole conversation. And I'm like, oh, thank you, I forgot to delete this one. And then before you know it, we wound up together.
Wow.
Oh, that's how it happened. Interesting. That'll be something we would do, right? Like a picture of you and your ex. And be like, yeah, I peeped that.
Yeah, she was on the
weeks
phone with
ago.
one of her homegirls, and double tapped it by mistake, and I'm like, oh, good looking.
That wasn't by mistake.
Yeah.
Not a mistake.
Petty.
Troy, let's hear. I want to hear Troy's response to this if you have one. Do you feel that way? Is that like a real concern with single guys?
Not the single guys that I know, but I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I don't think any highly functioning, emotionally intelligent man, turns a blind eye to the possibilities of how things can go wrong. I try not to, I guess, over-rotate on any one given thing, probably except work, but admittedly, but it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's been a long time since I was in a relationship with somebody I worked with. So today, I wouldn't know how to navigate that space, right? I think, it's always, I would love to say it's always, a sort of, dual feeling or connection or something that you see and then you want to figure out how to act on it, but there's no, recipe or guidelines to how you navigate those kind of situations.
I want to follow up to what you said earlier, Troy, about you not being ready for a relationship. Is that because of the responsibility of a relationship? Because I know you know a lot of fellas in your arena, like you talked to Soale, who's married, happily married, has the kids. Like, do you think about like, yo, maybe I need, how old are you, Troy? You old. So you seasoned.
I'm old.
You
I'm
seasoned.
seasoned.
You're seasoned. So do you ever think like, yo, let me make a move on this because I'm not getting any younger?
Nope. No.
Why not?
Why? Cause, right? Like, what is if we're putting this into male and female terms, I don't have a biological clock per se, right? So just that portion alone says that I don't have to do any of that stuff. And I live in Edgewater, New Jersey, so there's some older mofos than me that's out here crushing it. You know what I mean? Like it's anybody who knows, listen, we're in metropolitan New York, New Jersey. It's not difficult to find people to date or to hang out with or to do whatever you want with. But I just, when I do make that decision that I want to be in a relationship, I want to be able to give that person 100% of what it is that they require, and I want to be able to get that in return. And so today, I'm not going to give it, right? Because I don't necessarily have it to give, if I'm being honest, right? I'm completely focused on this next step or this next phase in my career, and selfishly, for the first time, I can say that that's what I want to do, as opposed to putting that to the back burner. I'm not a lover who is partially there, so I can't be partially I can't be partially there for my partner in that way.
So, okay, can I ask one more follow-up to this? So, have you guys heard of like the taxi cab theory? It was like on Sex and the City. If a man is ready, his light is on. Like a cab, you can hail a cab. If the light's off, it's not going to stop for you. If the light is on, it'll stop. So the theory is that when a man is ready, he'll basically just be with the next woman. And this goes both ways, right? But he'll be with the woman that's in front of him. Or do you think that the right woman can change a guy's mind? Like, Soale, I'd love to hear from you. Like, did you feel like your partner made you think differently about relationships, or were you out there like actively looking for somebody?
I've never actively looked, just like I've never actively found a book to read. Every book I've ever read, it came into my life organically.
Soale also was a bachelor pre-marriage, and every woman fell in love with him.
Yeah, listen.
Hey.
That's some insider information.
I've never had a problem with women loving me. My biggest problem was finding a woman I was patient enough to love back. And that's always been my challenge.
That you were patient enough to love back. What does that mean, patient enough to love back? Like, tell us what that means.
To deal with the shenanigans and the
No, but
bullshit.
he was patient enough to love her, he's saying.
Sorry.
Unless to deal with her bullshit. I don't know. We all have our bullshit, right?
Well, one, I want to clear this up. There's this notion that, especially when you say happily married, right? My lady tried to leave me 3 times this summer.
Wow.
Right? But she can't. I mean, look at, come on. Let's be honest. But anyways, the reason I'm saying that is because relationships take work. Like there's this idea that this fairy tale happens and you're gonna fall in love and then everything is gonna be like just bliss, and it's never that. And out of the 3 times, it might not have been 3, but that she wanted to or decided that she was gonna leave me, I wasn't even conscious of it. Troy made a point about like we're focused and goal oriented. I'm trying to every morning I wake up, I have a responsibility to take care of my family. That is my number 1 priority, right? And I will admit that sometimes because of those blinders, I might not necessarily, it takes me a while to kind of step back and kind of see everything because I need to accomplish like certain things. I know the responsibility that's on me. But with that said, it's like relationships in general just take work. And I've worked really hard for this particular relationship just because there's children involved. But beyond that, I love my lady. And I know that I'm not perfect. As much as I may joke about it, but I know that we are all flawed individuals. And I think sometimes we chase this idea of perfection. And I hear stories, and I don't mean to reference you, but I was raising my hand when you were on stage and you were talking about your new relationship. And your eyes lit up, right? And then outside looking in, everybody's like, oh, like I want that, right? And what I wanted to ask you was, what is wrong with him?
Dun, dun, dun.
No, because at some point it's going to show itself, and I don't want it to be new to you. Like that's the thing. Like we live in this idea, like it's perfect until it's not. But the things that are imperfect have always been there. But if we walk in the situation and be like, I see that flaw and I'm okay with it, right? And if we get to that early, when it comes back, I knew it was there, and I moved. Like one of the conversations I have with my lady a lot is this idea of compromise. What is your compromise, right? And we all have this idea, no, I shouldn't have to compromise. Unfortunately, everything in life is a compromise. Whether you admit it or not, it is a compromise. And then you have to be honest with yourself, to be like, is this the thing I'm willing to compromise on? And if it's not, then you can do that early. But when you're here and you believe in this idea, it's like, no, he completes me and all these things. And then one morning he does something, and then it's not brand new. He's been doing it from the jump, but you were so caught up in this moment that you didn't see it when it was glaring. Then you blame him for being himself because you didn't want to see it at that moment. And I think that's and to be honest, this is the second time I'll say it, we're not superheroes. We are not any different from anybody that's out there. I think the one thing we may have more than the next is just being self-aware. I understand my flaws. I'm okay standing up here and tell you I'm wrong with this, and this, and this. And if I tell you and you don't want to see it, you cannot blame me for it when you finally decide to see it, right? And that's a conversation you have to have with yourself. What's the mirror work?